Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to my Game of Thrones Legends mobile game content. So tonight folks, I'm so excited because it's a brand new fresh time in the game for us right now, because yesterday the official Discord opened and they opened up membership to everyone in the game now, or in the community that wanted to join. And we've seen a huge influx of players to the official Discord. It has been locked down for about a month and a half, 2 months, and it was invite only. And it gave us a chance to kind of flesh out the Discord, start to post and get to know each other. It gave the developers a chance to kind of see how they wanted to set up the Discord. And now that they've opened up the floodgates and thousands of players have joined, it's just been an exciting new fresh time for the game, because it finally feels like we have a place where we can talk and where we can meet each other and where we can share ideas and hopefully get our ideas seen by the development staff for things that we want to see improved or changed about the game. And they have been listening, and it's been a wonderful time. Some of us have created Discord communities on our own, like mine. I created the day the game released, and I've had pretty good success with it. It's been a thriving, active community of almost 500 members, and it's really been a safe, nice place for a lot of people to go and join in the conversation about the game and get to know each other and just have fun. But now that we actually have an official Discord, which is something this game has needed really badly, that gives us a place where we can have our voice heard by the developers. So that's really cool. One of the things that I have also noticed with the addition of this official Discord and the opening of it has been the huge influx of new players, it seems, because I read the posts on the official Discord and it's just post after post after post from new players asking questions about the game. And a lot of times, those of us that have played the game since release and before, we have a tendency to forget what new players go through because we have been playing the game for months and months, and we've spent a lot of money on it. We've amassed a lot of resources. We've amassed a lot of hero shards. We've leveled up our heroes. We've got our fortresses. As you can see, mine right now is 23 on its way up to 24, with 25 being the max in the game. So you can understand that players like me that have been playing for a long time, we kind of forget the trials and the tribulations that new players go through. And I want to use my platform to help those players be able to get acclimated to the game, to be able to understand things about the game that will help them in the long run. From my perspective as an experienced player, the mistakes that I made that I can help them possibly not make, that's big. Because in a game like this where resources are really hard to get, you have to focus and you have to be efficient and you have to be careful how you spend your resources, because if you don't and you want to be relevant in the game, you're not going to be, because you're just not going to have the ability to have the resources to do the things you want to do if you spend them unwisely. So what I want to do with this video is I want to give you 3 essential things that new players need to do if they want to be successful in this game. These are 3 tips from me, an experienced player, of things that you as a new player really need to do if you want to have a good time playing this game, be relevant, actually get somewhere with your account, okay? Because if you don't do these things, yes, you can still play the game and have fun, but I'm telling you, I have made so many mistakes in the way that I play this game, and it's hindered my account in so many ways, and I want to save you from those pitfalls. So the first thing I want to talk about for new players, tip number 1 out of 3 for the best possible things that you can do to give yourself the best start possible. Number 1 is join a house. Okay, in this game, guilds are called houses because it's built around the Game of Thrones lore. And if you've watched the Game of Thrones series on HBO, or if you've read the books about Game of Thrones, you know that the continent of Westeros was divided into houses, areas of influence that controlled basically the realm. One of those houses was the Stark of Winterfell. That's an example of a house that controlled a lot of the, the area of the Game of Thrones universe in Westeros. So that's kind of why they give alliances the name houses in this game. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to look to join a house as quickly as you possibly can, because there's a lot of benefits to being in a house, and you really need to take advantage of those benefits so that you can progress and grow your account. It also allows you to meet new people and a group to interact with, which makes the game so much more fun. As you played this game, you've probably noticed that there is no world chat in this game. That's something that I personally think is a bad move. I think we need a world chat so that the game can feel more alive for us and that we can interact with each other easily. But for some reason, the developers of the game have decided to limit that and not have it. So the only real chat you're going to have is like this right here, like I'm showing. This chat window right here is from my alliance, and you can see that we're going through and we're talking about everything that's going on in our house and all that kind of stuff, and it's a great place for us to interact. Now, one of the buildings that you'll need to be able to do this from will be the Alliance Hall, and I think just shortly after you join the game and start to get into the campaign mode, you work your way through a few levels of the campaign mode and get a few levels on your personal account. You'll eventually open up the ability to have an Alliance Hall right here on the map, and you'll be able to click on it and actually go to it and search for houses to join. Right now you can see my house pops up when I click on it because I'm a part of this house, the Three-Eyed Ravens. And if you didn't have a house, then you would get the option to search for other houses here. So what you need to do is you need to go here, you need to search for houses, and you need to find one that shares interests that you have that want to play the game together and have a good time. What that does for you is that gives you a community to play with, a group to play with. It will only be 30 people at most. Oh goodness, there goes my dog. That's my star Daisy right there. She's tearing it up. Please excuse her, I'm sorry. But you'll have a group of 30 people that you can play the game with at most in that house, because the limit is 30 of 30, maximum number of people that can participate in a house. But what that will do is that will give you a group to interact with, that will give you a group to do content with in the game that's called Legendary Assault. What you'll be doing is you'll be fighting dragons together, and as you guys take your turns and your hits on the dragon using your team that you're going to fight it with, like for this dragon I'm currently using this team right here, but it could be anything that you choose based on what you have. And what you do is you attack that sucker and you get some rewards if you beat it. You also get rewards if you don't beat it, which is a cool part about it. They're way better if you do beat it, obviously, but even if you don't beat it, you still get rewards, and that's one of the perks for being in a house. Without being in a house, you don't get access to this content because Legendary Assaults are house specific only. So by all means, join a house so that you can get access to content like that. I'm sure in the future we will have more things that houses only participate in, and those are great ways for you to gain resources, so that's something that you really need to think about. Aside from the benefits of getting to know people, having a group to interact with, learning from, teaching each other, and just hanging out, you get resources. So joining a house is a great thing to do for new players. It's one of the top 3 tips of ways that you can keep your account progressing in a good manner to allow you to enjoy the game to its fullest. So number 2, let's talk about something that's super, super important for you. Whether you're in a house or not, it doesn't matter. It's just about the growth of your account, and that is efficiency with your resources and your buildings. You need to understand that your resources that you gather in the game are directly relevant to the level of your workers that you have in your resource buildings. So for me to gather food, which is what I need to level up heroes and level up gear, so food is super critical. I need to have my food storage to a certain level. I need to have my workers to a certain level. And as you start to upgrade your production facility buildings, you'll start to unlock more and more slots of workers that you can have. The maximum number of slots is 4, 5, 6, 7 at this time, I think. And I'm not really sure if when you get to 25 on your fortress level you get another one, but I kind of think you do, but I haven't made it there, so I'm not sure. But right now I have 7, and I have them all leveled up to 23. And what that does is that gives me 4,400 food per hour and a generation cap of 110,000 food, within its time limit before it maxes out on how much it can gather. Now, the storage facility will hold 16 million food at the current level that I have it at. So all these farmers could max out today, and I could collect it all and have plenty of room to store it. So that's why it's important to keep up with your food storage levels as well. Now, you will have to level up these buildings and the workers to be able to level your fortress, because the fortress determines the level of how much those buildings and those workers can go to. As you go up in higher levels in your fortress, you will have the ability to level your workers and your storage facilities to a higher level. Right now I'm capped at the level that I can have my workers at, because I need to take my fortress up to level 24 before I can level my silver miners anymore, or before I can level my farmers anymore, or before I can level my iron miners anymore. I have to take the fortress up to level 24. That also affects the level of your storages that you can have as well. So you can see that it's super, super important that you pay attention to your upgrade cycle that you have, so that you're constantly progressing. You constantly want to be building up your workers, building up your storage, and building up your fortress levels, so that you can have the most resource generation capable, so that you can collect those resources all day long and put the food towards leveling heroes, the food towards leveling gear, the iron towards leveling other buildings, the silver towards leveling your heroes. And you're going to understand that these resources are critical in the raising of your account. As you go through and level your hero up, your heroes, individual heroes that you use in the game, are going to also get the ability to, your champions, I guess I should call them, because that's what they're called here on the screen. Your champions are going to have the ability to level up as well. And you can see right now that to level up my Ned, you get 50 levels per star. So where I'm at right now with my Ned, I have a capability to go to level 300. And you can see it's going to take me 110k food and 8,300 silver to put him up one level. So you can understand real fast how it gets super oppressive to level up these characters the higher you go. Now, Ned's a legendary, so his cost is super high as compared to what maybe this one would be. An epic, his cost to level up is a lot lower, and I can't show you that because he's max level for the maximum stars that he's at. But let me find one that I can actually still level, like a Red John here. The Red John, for an epic character at level 64 to go to 65 is a lot less than Ned was. He still takes, you know, a reasonable amount, but you can see 258 versus the thousands that it was for Ned is a big difference. So keep that in mind. When you're spending your resources to level up your heroes, you have varying degrees of heroes. You have legendary, you have epics, and you have commons that can be leveled up, and these are the commons right here. And they all cost a certain amount of silver and food to level up as well. So this is one of the main reasons why resource generation is so important. It's important for leveling up your heroes, because obviously with your stronger heroes you can do stronger content. You can do higher levels of events and place better. You can do higher levels of dragons with your alliance and do better. You can do harder teams and raids and hopefully win in PvP. So it's very important to level up your heroes, but it's also super important to level up your buildings and your production facilities as well, so that investment in your resource production capability can continue to grow, okay? One of the key things that new players need to know is that a lot of this stuff is on timers. So when you have a building that's going on a timer, like this one right here is 14 days and 15 hours left. The smart thing for you to do is to set yourself an alarm. Get an app on your phone that allows you to program an alarm to go off when you need it to remind you that this is going to go off. Yes, the in-game notification will go off and let you know, but a lot of times a notification can pop up on your phone and you don't even realize it and you don't see it till the next day or whatever. But if you get you an app where you can set an alarm, an audible alarm that goes off, and it'd be like ding 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 till you turn it off type of thing, then it's so annoying that you cannot ignore it. And you'd be surprised just how many hours that can save you of building time if you're more aware of when your facilities are done and ready to be increased. Right now, I'm waiting on iron to build so that I can level more of my iron miners, but when I set the upgrade for this one, it's going to be done in 1 day and 14 hours, and you can bet I'm going to set me an alarm to let me know when that one's done. Well, I'm insufficient resources right now because I only have 70k iron because I just spent 5 million iron trying to get my fortress up. But yeah, don't let me get sidetracked here. The alarm that I'm going to set is going to tell me when 1 day and 14 hours expires, so that I can then run right in here quick like a bunny rabbit and click on this one and set his upgrade. That way I don't waste any time at all, okay? So that's one of the things that's really super critical about being productive with your resource buildings, being productive with your leveling of your buildings, with the leveling of your heroes. It's all super important. So efficiency in how you handle your resources is tip number 2, to allow new players to actually grow their accounts and have the most pleasure out of this game. If you are efficient with your resources, you will get a lot farther in the game than you would if you just kind of willy-nilly go about things. And this is where a good Discord community can help you, because you can go in there and you can say, hey, I'm not really sure what I should do. Should I level this or should I level that? And a lot of times experienced players can jump in there and help you figure that one out. What's the best course of action for you if you're unsure, or if you're a new player? Because trust me, we've been playing this game for months and we understand the ins and outs of this game now after so much time invested in it, and we can really help you get on the right track. So efficiency in resources and how you handle your buildings is key, okay? That also leads into the third point that I want to talk about. And the third point is focusing on team builds. Okay, this is crucial for new players to really understand, and I'm going to explain why. Alright, so the last point I want to talk about is something that is crucial for new players to understand when they come to this game. Because new players will invariably make the same mistake that I did, which cost me greatly, because it cost me weeks and months of time that I had to backtrack and actually get on track with teams that were relevant and important in the meta. One of the things that's super important for new players to understand is you need to focus. You need to focus on a team build or 2 team builds. And what do I mean by that? Well, to do the majority of content in the game, you're either going to have events, you're going to have legendary assault dragon battles in your alliances, you're going to have raids, and we're just about to get some new content as well that will help you be able to earn some more rewards as well, called the Castle Challenge. But for right now, you need to understand that you may have to develop a couple of different teams to be effective at all those things. Legendary Assault may require an Ice or a Stark team so that you can get Dragon's Brittle and then do way more damage. Those seem to be very effective. Right now, one of the metas is what we call the green teams, and that's the green team faction. Teams built around that have been performing really well on Dragons. Well, that's great, but that team then may not do well in other areas of the game like events. So you may find yourself having to build a couple of different teams to be successful at the game. You need to get in a Discord and start asking questions to people that are experienced to help you figure out that based on whatever roster you have unlocked at the moment, what teams would be good for you to build and to focus on. One of the worst mistakes you can make as a new player is to start to level everything. Just willy-nilly start to level everything, not knowing what's good and what's not good, and you waste silver and you waste food and you do all that stuff leveling characters that you're eventually just gonna not use ever. So one of the most key points of this whole thing that I need to get across to new players is that you need to do your research, pick teams, and ask questions about which teams are good so that you can focus on those teams, okay? So one of the things that I can do to show you is I can just show you the team that I use for, let's go look at the raids, because I'll show you what team I use for raids. So for right now, the team that I have fallen on that I really like for raids the best at this time is this team right here, because it's fast, it kills people quick. Each one of these characters has what's called an AoE, where when they do their special move, they attack the whole enemy team. So this is the team that I'm focused on right now for raids, for this particular type of content. I'm going to focus all my resources on these characters right here, on leveling them up, and I'm not going to try to level up anything else, because at this time, this is what I'm focused on. So for right now, I need to focus on, as you can see, I've got the maximum levels for the star levels that I'm at. So now I'm focused on leveling their gear. You either need to be leveling their levels or leveling their gear so that you can have the most productive team you can. But when you stay in your lane for the team that you have chosen, you're going to be a lot more successful than if you try to just throw resources at everything, throw resources at the wall and see what sticks. So that's one of the key things that I want to get across to new players, is that focusing on a team in this game is super important. One of the biggest pitfalls that new players can fall into, and I know because I did it, and it cost me a lot of time where I had to backtrack and say, okay, like for example, for me, I realized 3 months into the legendary assaults that all the teams that I was trying to use on the dragons weren't working, and I screwed up and I wasted all that time where I could have been focusing on a team that is meta, like the Stark Ice team. You need to pay attention to the Discord and the things that the players say so that you can understand what works good and go to that and focus on it. Yes, you can play this game and cobble together a team that you think will be good and experiment and all that kind of stuff, and that can be fun. but you quickly come to the understanding that this game's resources are so limited and so stingy that if you do not focus, you're going to be sorry in the long run. So if I was you as a new player, I would listen to the Discord and ask questions in the Discord about what's a good team build, what should I be going towards, read other people's comments about the teams that they use, and look around as you fight various opponents what teams they're using so you can see what's good. Get in tip number 1, get in a house and start to chat with your housemates about what's good and what everybody thinks you should be using so you can know what to focus on. Because getting in a house, tip number 1, being efficient with your resources and your production facilities, tip number 2, and then tip number 3, focusing on just a few teams and not 10 teams. Focus on 2 teams, type of thing will get you farther than anything else that I could share with you. These are the tips that I can share with you as a new player that will help you more than anything. So I hope that you've enjoyed this content. I hope it helped you. I want to use my platform to be able to share my advice to new players to help them do better so that we can have more players of the game that are enjoying the game and interacting with the game so that the game can be more successful and that we can have a bigger group of people to interact with and have a great time with. So I appreciate you watching my content. Let me know in the comments section if you have anything to say about these tips that I've given new players. You experienced players that are watching this content, chime in the comment section as well and share your tips with them, because there's going to be so many new players watching this content, and I'm sure that they can learn some things from you experienced players and the things you have to say. We'd love to be able to interact with you. Be sure to check the description of my video for a link to my Discord. I have a thriving, tremendously successful Discord that's focused on this game as well. We also have a great community there that we'd love to interact with you with. We have a lot of things to offer you there, and give it a try and see if it's for you. So thank you for watching my content. I really appreciate you. I know that you had a million things you could be doing, but you chose to spend it with me, and I truly appreciate that. So thank you, and have fun in Game of Thrones Legends, and I'll see you in another video soon. Peace!